What's up, y'all? Welcome to Smoke in the Bay exclusive interview with the ambassador of Cohiba, Mr. Sean Williams. Sean, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good seeing you, man.
Good seeing you again.
Thanks,
It's been about almost, 2 years since the last time you came down to Ohlone Cigar
Was it
Lounge?
2 years?
About that, 2022, I believe, right?
I wasn't here last year.
Wasn't last year, yes. So it was
Wow.
October of 22.
You're good, man. I thought it was it's been too long, man. Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you back. Another successful night with an exclusive event with Cohiba. How you been?
I've been good, man. Good.
That's good.
Enjoying life, trying. Yeah.
How's travel?
Travel's travel, man.
I know it gets tiring, but you also have the perks of going to places you've never been before and enjoying the food, the sights, and life of everything
Yeah, man.
the world has to offer while selling one of the greatest products we have in the world,
You
cigars.
said that, not me. Yeah, I love it. Cohiba Cigars specifically.
Cohiba.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me ask you real quick. What got you into cigars? When did you smoke your first cigar and knew that this was the industry you wanted to be in?
So, I guess two quick things. When I smoked my first cigar, I didn't know that this is the industry I wanted to be in. I didn't. I was instantly taken with this. So I was on a New Year's. This was New Year's 2005. So
Okay.
took a cruise with some buddies of mine. We'd all been friends since the ninth grade. So at this point, we're in our mid-30s. We've known each other better than 20 years, and we hadn't gotten together collectively in a while. I don't remember which one of us, but at some point during the previous year, we came up with the idea, hey, let's take a New Year's cruise, get the wives, girlfriends together, hang out, whatever. So we take this cruise again, New Year's from 2004 going into 2005. So let's just say it's January 1, 2005. Had my first cigar on the ship. My guy Damon Smothers, who again had known him for 20 years at this point.
Okay.
He was the one in the crew who was really into cigars. As a matter of fact, he was living out here in Bakersfield at the time. So he's like, hey man, let's go have a cigar. So whatever, I had never had a cigar. So we go to the piano bar, and there's this countertop humidor on the bar, and pick out a cigar, get a sniff of brandy, and sit down. And 45 minutes into it or so, I'm just really loving the experience, man. Just kind of sitting down. The cigar was good enough. First cigar I ever had was a Fuente Double Chateau.
Okay.
So, I knew nothing about cigars. It turns out it was obviously a pretty good cigar. But I just really, it was a process, man. Just, enjoying this nice spirit that I was drinking, relaxing with the cigar, catching up with these guys I've known most of my life. And that's when it just hit me that that's what cigars were about.
Yes.
So I was just really curious about it at that point. So got back to Atlanta, and I think even in the airport, I stopped at like the Hudson News and grabbed the Cigar Aficionado because I would see the magazine,
Yes.
but had never cracked one open. And based on that, I would read about the industry, and I would look at different ratings and reviews, and based on that, I would go to my local cigar shop at the time, Cigar Villa, which was close to the house, and I just Googled it and saw it. And again, turns out it was a good cigar shop. It wasn't at the time. This is going back, I guess, 20 years almost now. It wasn't as inviting a cigar shop to sit in necessarily.
Okay.
So what I found is the selection was great. So I grabbed my cigars, and I was in real estate at the time. I had a mortgage company, and I built a few starter homes throughout the year. So I'd be in my house, man, smoking a cigar by myself, right?
Nice.
And which kind of, it was cool, but it kind of sucked. I wanted to experience it with other people.
Get out.
Yeah. So I had the idea to start a cigar group, so to speak. So I ended up starting Atlanta Cigar Society.
Okay.
And it was just a vehicle for me to just do cigar events and meet people. So over time, as I'm doing these events, wine tastings and poker nights and stuff like that, the events started to gain a little bit of popularity. And I was thinking, well, these people come out to these events, it'd be kind of cool if I had my own cigar, kind of a private label cigar just for the event. So that was really the impetus behind it. And I've made a few connections in the business by then, just in getting sponsorship for my events and stuff. So making a few calls, and long story short, ended up in, by January 2006, I'm actually on a plane going to Nicaragua to come up with the blend or work on the blend. So
one of the factories?
Yeah, Placencia. Yeah,
Placencia,
so
okay.
I'm at the Placencia family. Shout out to Nestor Sr. and Nestor Andres. Always just a salt of the earth, just incredible people. I just saw them again this past weekend at the convention in Vegas. And, they were really, really hospitable. Avelio, the first master blender I ever worked with, rest in peace, was real patient. I sat down with him. And, when I got down there, on the way down there, I thought I knew about cigars. And I was 2 seconds in the factory and realized I didn't know shit. I didn't know, like, it was overwhelming, man, because it was very rudimentary. The process at the time was, they basically, hey, what notes do you want to cigar? What's the profile? So he said, I want a full body, I want Maduro. I'm just naming these basic sort of academic sort of things I want, like a Maduro, I want a spicy, I want it to, whatever. Yeah. Based on that, the blender would just grab all these different tomatoes. Like, you say you want a Maduro cigar, okay, well then there's 6 or 8 different Maduro wrappers. And you're like, whoa, Yeah. At the time it was open, right? So that's how I started, and then over time I just got more involved in being more instructive in the blending process, and as it stands now, when I'm bored at home, I roll cigars at home. So, wow. So it was a process, but I got started just as as a lot of people. It was just a passion of mine. I wanted to learn more about it, and as I learned more, I wanted to learn more.
Yes, got you.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
kind of has its way.
All right.
Yeah.
So since now you've been all these years in the cigar industry, what's Sean's go-to cigar? What is your favorite? Maduro, Connecticut, Habano? Do you have a go-to?
I don't have a go-to cigar necessarily. It's like when all else fails, this is home base. It's not.
Okay.
It just depends on the mood. Now, candidly, probably the cigar I'm smoking now, I probably smoke this more than other cigars because this is typically my first cigar of the day, being the Cohiba Connecticut. So probably 5 out of 7 days a week I'm smoking this cigar because most times I start my day with it. But then it can go in any different direction based on what I got going on today. And it's like over history, there's some cigars that have stood out to me for different reasons, right?
Yeah.
Right now I'm smoking a lot of a Riviera, which that cigar is kind of full circle for me. The very first cigar I ever made as a cigar maker 18 years ago was a box press Maduro. Come full circle to now, we just recently, for the first time in the history of Cohiba, put out a box press Maduro with the Riviera, and it's very Nicaraguan centric. So a lot of it is reminiscent for me. There you go, right? Yeah, very reminiscent of again, like my early start as a cigar maker. So, and then it's also the newest thing in the portfolio. So, you naturally smoke that more because I've smoked so much of the other stuff in the portfolio. So that's kind of working more in my rotation now, but there's no like go-to cigar. I mean, it depends on what I've eaten or what I'm going to eat, what I'm drinking. There's a lot that goes into the weather even.
Yes.
So it just depends, man. Yeah.
So you got to have that perfect pairing with your food, with your
I'm not
drink.
gonna say perfect, but you want something that pairs well. I mean, I'm not gonna have a black and cowboy ribeye and follow that up with this cigar.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's in the consideration. It's not absolute. It's not perfect. But yeah, I mean, I think cigars. We should really, really approach cigar selection similar to what, as we sit here in Northern California, how you do with wines. I mean, that's not very dissimilar.
Yeah.
Like you want to pair a cigar in a perfect scenario. If you have the option to do that, kind of pair it with your drink of choice, with your meal. I think that just adds to the experience. Yeah.
Okay. Now, seeing you and following you on social media, I see you're an avid football fan. New Orleans Saints.
Who that? Yeah.
Who that? Now, when you're watching football on Sunday, whether you're with a group of friends, cigar lounge, wherever you may be, what is usually your go-to cigar on football Sunday when you know you're going to be there watching a couple of games? Do you have a go-to, or do you have a rotation you like to run through?
Yeah, yeah.
and have during the game?
It depends. Like if I'm going to be like taking pictures in my Hudak gear, that's the easiest it's going to be. You know, it's black and gold, man. So it's going to be either the Connecticut or the Cohiba black. A lot of times it's the Connecticut because I typically wear my my white Saints cap and white, black, and gold. So this kind of just aesthetically this matches with it. But yeah, that's sort of the same thing. That could go either way. It depends on what I'm in the mood for. So yeah, I don't have a go-to game time cigar. Maybe I should come up with one. So,
Hey, you never know. There you go. Cohiba have a game time cigar and have a perfect blend for that afternoon. A nice 2-hour smoke for the game of your choice.
If it's my Saints, hopefully it's a celebratory cigar because we won.
There it is. And then when they're out there celebrating, they be smoking your cigar.
For sure.
All right. So you do a lot of traveling, going to factories, trying blends. So what goes into the process of visiting a factory and creating a blend or watching your brand of cigars be put together in the tasting process as well?
So we have, I say we, General Cigar Company, STG. We have 3 different factories. The primary factory that we produce most of the Cohiba stuff is in Santiago, Dominican Republic.
Okay.
We also have a factory in Downey, Honduras, where we make the Cohiba Royale. And we have a factory in Stogie, Nicaragua, where we make the Riviera, my Silencio, my private blend, and also the Cohiba Nicaragua. I don't get to that factory as much, just by the nature of travel. I spend most of my time at the factory in Santiago. And then we have a non-company factory, which a factory we don't own, El Type de Bronze in Miami, where we make the Syrian.
Syrian, yes.
And I'll probably get to that factory more because it's in Miami. And it's a factory I have a long history with that predates my time here with General Cigar and Cohiba.
Okay.
But as far as the process, we're coming up with it's a number of different processes, right? We have incredible master blenders at all of the different factories, and we also have just tobacco experts who are constantly looking for or identifying different leaves maybe that we haven't used or that we have in our ecosystems of the company but hasn't been used in Cohiba. That it's sort of like I kind of liken it to like making an album, right? Like I'm not a musician, at least not professionally, right? But from everything I see when an artist is putting together an album, the artist will write some of the songs, maybe produce some of the songs, but then there's other people who produce some tracks and submit it to the artist, or write songs and submit. And it's kind of like a little bit of that, I'm the genesis of certain things from an idea standpoint. We also have people in the factories that say, hey, this leaf is incredible. You need to try it. Or this is a blend we've been working on. We think, a lot of times they come up with a blend in the factory and they'll think, well, I was thinking, this blend was maybe for CAO, but this may be a better blend because of the components for Cohiba. So it's a collaborative process. And we have a team. We'll get together a couple times a year. We're going to have a session similar to that in May, which I'm really excited about, where we get together and we just bring ideas to the table. Again, some of them come from me initially. Some of them come from other people in other factories, and we sit down. That's fun, man. Because we're all smoking like cars with bad O-rings, man. Like it's just all kinds of blend testings and whatever. So that's a great process. And it's always collaborative. And everybody listens and debates a little bit. From what the blend is going to be, the name is going to be, colors. It's just a lot that goes into it, but there's a lot of moving parts to it, and I'm fortunate to be sort of the person, consumer facing that most people see, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that have a lot of input at every level, and I'm fortunate that it all funnels through me, right? And and I have a pretty significant say in what's going to hit the shelves. And I'm also fortunate that a good bit of the time it's stuff that I actually had my hands in. So it's a great process. It's a great process.
It's like they say, over 200 hands touch the cigar before it reaches the store for you to pick up and buy.
And just as many minds right? Like there's a lot that goes into it.
All the
I mean,
ideas.
from the because and I tell people a lot of times it's not hard to make a good cigar.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to make a different cigar.
Gotcha.
And so that's what keeps us like hungry, like trying to find something that's different in some way. And it's not easy to do because, I mean, there's some things that are sort of unique to us as a brand that we have as far as tobacco that's in some instances very different from other people, but in a lot of instances maybe the tobacco variety is not different, but we have it in abundance, or we have you know the top selections of it, right?
Yeah.
So that separates a little bit, but for the most part, you know, companies that have enough resources kind of have access to a lot of the same stuff. You know, Jalapa, Nicaragua wrapper, that's something that's almost exclusively to us. And, you know, I challenge you to go in your humidor and look for cigars that have Jalapa wrappers. They don't exist. We have them, but that's because of a relationship we have with the family that grows them and the amount that they grow, and we make a commitment that wrapper grade is ours. So you won't find that like really exclusive to us. Cameroon leaf, you know, the Merfield family has been growing that, you know, in Central Africa for decades, and we have an incredible relationship with them. So we get, you know, exceptional Cameroon leaf. So that's something that's kind of exclusive to us. You know, there's a couple of other companies as well, but you know, most people don't get really authentic good Cameroon. So there's a few things that you know, Elijah San Agustin, that's you know, Honduran tobacco that's grown near the Guatemalan border. That's something that's pretty exclusive to us. But aside from that, you know, it's hard to take just those few things and really differentiate the experience from other stuff that you get. But that's what we always trying to do, just a little different. And I feel good with our lineup because we don't have any two cigars that taste alike. You know,
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
you know, we pride ourselves on trying to find the best growing regions in the world, getting tobacco from there, whether it's the Cameroon from Central Africa, whether it's the Connecticut broadleaf that's on the black, whether it's Los Rios, Ecuador, which is on here, whether it's the San Andreas. Like, we won't have any two blends that taste the same. And I, you know, I feel real good about that. That if someone is a cigar lover, they can go through our entire range of cigars, and there's something different that hits them different based on what the blends are and the profiles, and you know, and that's our way of really sort of differentiating at least the experience for the cigar smoker within the ecosystem.
Gotcha. Okay. Another question with the factory. The blood and sweat, tears, and years. What does it take to sit there and smoke a cigar like the Riviera when you're creating it? What does it take to sit there and smoke it and be like, no, that's not the right taste, and that's not, I'm missing something, I need to add something or take something away? What does that process go through as you're smoking the cigar before you finally say, you know what, we got the perfect blend for that stick to put on the shelf for the consumer to buy, the aficionado?
It takes an open mind. Yeah, I mean, because listen, I mean, not for nothing, it's not like, you know, we're making cigars that we're gonna just smoke, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You got to have something that doesn't have to have a broad appeal, but you have to have something like, you know, that speaks to an audience that you may not be speaking to in your current lineup, right? So that sometimes it causes you to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because we all have like I'm not big on spice.
Okay.
Admittedly, I'm not a big spice.
Pepper as well too, or?
Well,
No,
those are one of the same. I mean, you're talking different types of pepper. You're talking white pepper versus black pepper versus red
That
pepper.
kick where people say they get that kick on the tongue.
Yeah, I like front of the palate spice. I don't want spice that's going to hit me in the back of the palate and mute my palate, so I don't taste anything else, right?
Yeah.
So some people like a real spice bomb,
Yeah.
super heavy cigar. That's not my thing. I want a full experience. I want a little spice mixed with some savor, mixed with some whatever, mixed with some sweetness, and that sweetness can manifest itself in different ways. So, so for me, like the Royale was the one that sort of kind of pushed me out a little bit. That's probably the spiciest cigar that we have.
Took you out of your comfort zone a little?
Yeah, and that cigar is specifically made at our factory in Downey, Honduras, because of the tobaccos that's in the cigar. They're more familiar with working with that tobacco, and they make bolder cigars there. So you got to know that too. Okay, you can take the same tobacco and make it at same blend, make it at 3 different factories. It's going to taste 3 different ways. So you have to kind of know that, but also just kind of know when to say when. I mean, working on this cigar, we're one of the few companies that actually have authentic U.S. grown Connecticut shade leaf. Like, we use the term Connecticut because this style of leaf was pioneered and popularized here in the USA and Connecticut, but it's rarely grown in Connecticut now. Most of the leaf that's coming out of the state of Connecticut is broadleaf. Very little shade comes out of it. But we actually still have shade-grown tobacco from the U.S., from Connecticut.
Oh, nice.
So in making this Connecticut, that's like in my mind, okay, well, we got this tobacco, we got to use that. Well, you know, we're into the process, and that wrapper was just not working with the cigar. You know, I mean, I wanted something that was a little creamier, a little sweeter, and U.S. shade-grown Connecticut is really good leaf. It's just not the sweetest leaf, right? So, you know, we lost a little bit of time, you know, kind of pushed the launch date a little bit, you know, back because, you know, I was a bit stubborn, you know, insisting on that, but working with the group, I was telling you, you know, we're smoking, like, this is not it, you know. So instead of just putting it out and just being able to say, hey, it's U.S. shade-grown Connecticut, but not be the cigar that we want, you know, we lost a little time and ended up going with, you know, this Los Rios region-grown Ecuador shade wrapper, you know. So, but that's just being open-minded and not you know, just being insular and thinking, well, you know, I know it's going to work. It may, but you know, I mean, you want to get you know, honest opinion from people that you really respect. And I'll never ever refer to myself as a master blender. I'm a blender. I make cigars, but you know, thankfully there are people within our organization that have forgotten more about tobacco than I'll ever know. And I spend a lot of time talking to them.
All right, sounds good. All right, let me ask you this: for beginners out there wanting to get in cigars, and they may have come across Cohiba or maybe something different, what kind of... Well, that I'll run it back here.
Get on jeans, man. It's good.
It's all good. It's all good. It happens to me from time to time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how would you help out a beginner? What would you recommend to them to get started? Someone out there watching this for the first time, wanting to get into cigars, have seen you with Cohiba, follows you. What would you recommend to a beginner, something that they would want to start with in the cigar store?
Well, first, I would recommend that they talk to Mike.
There it is.
Go into your retail shop, talk to the tobacconist.
Your local tobacconist.
Yeah, I mean, you know, instinctively, I would say start with a milder cigar. You know, start with a Connecticut. That's sort of a safe place to start, right?
Yeah.
Cohiba Connecticut, but that person, even though they're a newbie, they may have a penchant for bolder flavors, like you know, they may really be into spicy food, or you know, be into you know, heavier drinks. Do they enjoy rum versus you know, bourbon or whatever? So just kind of, you know, give you some thoughts on what they like to eat or drink. What's the occasion? Are they buying cigars just for themselves, or are they going to get maybe a box or a selection of cigar for a group of people for a certain occasion? There's a lot that goes into it. Now, if it's just a single person, they're coming in on their own, they've never smoked a cigar before, a safe place to start, obviously, is with a milder cigar.
Exactly.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a Connecticut. It could be, you know, Ecuador Habano.
Natural.
Just a natural, you know. But the big thing is, I would implore them to ask questions and ask questions of the resident experts, which is typically the tobacconists.
Yeah. That's the great thing of going to your local lounge or tobacco shop, or not tobacco shop, but your cigar shop.
Yeah, you buy online, you don't have that ability.
Yeah.
Right. It's like potluck. You know, you'll buy a sample, you buy whatever. Maybe in that sample you get something that you like, but you know, it's just a much more you know, all-encompassing experience to come in and talk to a tobacco expert, talk to other you know, customers in the shop, some of which may be newbies a little bit further along than you, some may be experts, and they kind of know where they started years ago. So so I would say find your local tobacconist and start with the you know, the proprietor and the guys working in the shop, and see what the customers enjoy. Yeah.
There it is. So you got to work your way from the bottom to the top, because you don't want to go too strong.
Yeah.
kill your palate before you get started, because I know a lot of people have
It
ruined
gets
their
turned off.
palate.
Yeah. Or they go with a super strong cigar. When I say strong, I don't mean full body. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
But they go with a nicotine bomb. It gives them the shakes, make them lightheaded. You know,
Exactly.
and ruin the experience. Like there's nothing wrong. You can always start mild and work your way up. But if you have a bad experience right out of the gate, it may turn you off altogether.
Exactly. All right, so one of the final questions I ask you, traveling.
Okay.
You get to travel all over the country, all over the world, different locations, different lounges, cigar shops, and have events. How has that been? Is that something you ever looked at and said, man, this is something I never thought I would be able, or I would never be able doing, or I wouldn't be doing, versus, you know, a typical, 9-to-5 job, but you get to travel the world and visit people, visit shops, and talk Cohiba cigars and cigars in general.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't in my plan to bring up for life, man. Like I didn't envision this when I smoked my first cigar years ago and started the cigar social group. This is I am very, very blessed, very fortunate to be able to make a product that for the most part, brings relaxation or enjoyment to people's lives. And oh, by the way, I get to travel around and sit down and enjoy the product with them. So no, I didn't. This was not my plan for life. I mean, went to college, played football, graduated, worked in corporate America, did the normal stuff, which that was was great too. I mean, a great experience. But man, I'm one of the lucky few that gets to be paid for his passion and enjoy that passion with other people who are passionate about it.
You get to share your knowledge and
So
give people advice and
for what it's worth.
information of the cigar.
Yeah.
Because I know you're a very knowledgeable person. You know your cigars. You can help someone out that doesn't know which end to smoke the cigar from, and you could teach them, and by the time they're done with that hour and a half cigar.
Well, hopefully they know what end of life before I'm talking to them. Right? That means you didn't do your job.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I want to thank you for joining us at Ohlone Cigar Lounge for the Cohiba event we had tonight. It was very successful, and I want to thank you for coming out again.
Can't be another 2 years, though. Yeah.
No, we got to get you out here again within the next year and have another event.
No doubt.
You want to say your social medias for anybody that want to catch up with you and follow you on the side?
Yeah, the quickest place, I'm on IG and Facebook and X, I guess it's called now, Threads. But the best place probably to start with me is on IG, because most of my stuff I post there and sort of copy over to the other platforms.
Gotcha.
So it's easy. It's Sean Williams _cigar. That's SEAN Williams _cigar. That's it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, folks, there it is, Mr. Sean Williams of Cohiba Cigars. I want to thank you guys again for joining me on my channel, Smoke in the Bay Cigar Review with your boy Hijacker Mike, aka Mr. Mac. Thank you again. Come down to Ohlone Cigar Lounge if you are in the Bay Area, California. We are in the city of Fremont, and we have a wide selection of cigars. We have our 12th anniversary coming up here next month in April, and we're just having fun. Come down, learn, grab some cigars, smoke with us, have fun. Sean, as always,
My man.
thank you, my man. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for the interview, and God bless you, and safe travels back and forth through work and home, my man.
Cheers.
All right, guys. Peace.